Welcome to Guide to Reads, where great books spark big ideas. Do you dream of leading with clarity, igniting your team's potential, and leaving a legacy that matters? Then you're in the right place. Today, we're exploring 7 Principles of Transformational Leadership by Hugh Blane, a powerful guide for those who want to lead not just with strategy, but with soul. Maybe you're already leading a team. Maybe you're working hard, showing up every day. Yet something still feels off. Like progress keeps slipping just out of reach. You're not alone. Many leaders grind without gaining traction because they're focused on tactics, not transformation. This episode is about flipping that script. Because transformational leadership begins not with systems or spreadsheets, but with a shift in you. We'll unpack 7 principles that help you lead with purpose, spark innovation, and build a culture where people and performance thrive together. From purpose to passion, from mindset to mastery, let this be your invitation to rise, to realign, and to lead with impact. If you're ready, let's begin with the first and most powerful principle: purpose. 1. Leadership needs a purpose. Picture yourself driving through dense fog. You grip the wheel tighter. Your eyes strain ahead. The world narrows into a blur. Even the music gets turned down as your body shifts into survival mode. Now imagine leading an organization under that same fog, no clear purpose, no guiding direction. What happens? Tension rises, motivation fades, and progress slows to a crawl. This is what Hugh Blane calls the purpose principle, the antidote to confusion and stagnation. It's made up of 3 interlocking gears: love, talent, and value. Love is what energizes you, the parts of your work that light you up and help you grow. Talent is your natural edge, the unique strengths and skills that set you apart. Value is the difference you make, the positive impact your work has on others. When those 3 align, you don't just have a job, you have purpose. Finding it begins with reflection. What moments in your day fill you with energy instead of draining it? What proud memories stick with you? And why? And ask this: what would others miss most if you stopped showing up tomorrow? Distill your answers into a simple statement of impact, like this: I create leadership workshops so that managers can build stronger teams. Or, I create compassionate care plans so that patients can heal with dignity. It always begins with I create, followed by so that, and ends with can, revealing the transformation you make possible. Once that clarity is in place, everything else becomes easier. Your calendar, your meetings, your choices, all of them get filtered through one question: does this serve my purpose? To start living from that place of alignment, Blane offers 3 powerful steps. Reframe your past. See your failures not as flaws, but as fuel. Reclaim your future. Name the aspirations that ignite you and pursue them with boldness. Recalibrate your present. Let go of distractions and invest in what truly moves the needle. This is what purpose-driven leadership looks like. It's not just about leading others, it's about leading yourself with intention, direction, and meaning. Now, with purpose as your compass, let's move to the second principle: belief. 2 promises define leadership: trust. Trust doesn't begin with grand speeches. It begins in the quiet space between what we say and what we do. This is the heartbeat of the promises principle. Leadership is built on promises. Not just the big, bold declarations, but the daily, consistent follow-through. It's in the small things: showing up when you said you would, listening when someone needs to be heard, delivering, even when it's inconvenient. Every kept promise strengthens trust. Every broken one weakens it. And when leaders say one thing but do another, a credibility gap opens. Soon, people stop believing. Not because the message is wrong, but because the messenger feels hollow. And in that space, doubt creeps in. People disengage. They do the bare minimum. They protect themselves, rather than investing in the vision. So how do we fix it? We begin by honoring our word, like it matters. Because it does. Every promise should meet 3 criteria. It must serve a clear purpose. It must be made voluntarily, not out of pressure. And it must require saying no to other priorities. Yes, keeping promises is hard. But that's what makes them powerful. They force us to choose what matters most. When promises are clear, fear recedes. Accountability becomes natural, not confrontational. Team members feel safe to speak up, take risks, and offer bold ideas. That's where trust lives. And trust is where transformation begins. To apply this principle, start simple. Look at the promises you make. Which ones do you keep, effortlessly? Which ones do you struggle with? And why? Then, name your 5 most important priorities. And each day, take one action that aligns with those promises. Just one. Over time, that daily rhythm becomes your leadership legacy. Not flashy, not loud, but deeply trusted. Music gently rises, offering a tone of resolve and quiet strength. From the foundation of trust, we move to the third principle, belief. 3. Projects. That project your leadership. What comes to mind when you hear the word project? For many, it's stress, deadlines, meetings that could have been emails, but in transformational leadership, a project isn't just a task list, it's a mirror, reflecting your purpose, your promises, and your priorities, out into the world. That's the heart of the project's principle. Think of it like this. A light bulb lights a room. A projector casts an image, something bigger, something shared. Great leaders don't just shine, they project. They bring vision to life. They don't just talk purpose, no, they show it. Every action, every initiative becomes a canvas where their leadership shows up clearly. But how do you do this without getting lost in busy work? It starts with 5 clear strategies. 1. Act smaller. Focus on daily wins, not just big ideas. 2. Master your mindset. Let growth, not fear, guide your thinking. 3. Cultivate ruthless focus. Clarity is power. 4. Create white space. 2 quiet 15-minute pauses each day to reflect, adjust, and breathe. 5. Find perspective, even from a coach who sees what you can't. At the center of it all is the flourishing performance formula. You flourish first. Then your team flourishes. Then your customers flourish. Try to reverse the order, and the project fails, because you can't light the path for others when your own flame is fading. And remember, don't fall in love with the process. Fall in love with the outcome. Ask yourself what goal truly matters and why. How will we know we're making progress? What value are we creating, not just for us, but for others? When you ask these questions, your leadership stops being theoretical. It becomes visible, measurable, felt. So go beyond managing projects. Design them to project your best self outward. That's how transformation begins. One clear, purpose-driven action at a time. Up next, the 4th principle, relationships fuel results. 4. Persuasion drives leadership influence. Every day, more than 1.7 million airline passengers pass through TSA security, where agents decide who is safe to proceed. In leadership, a similar silent screening occurs. Stakeholders constantly assess whether a leader is safe to follow. That's the heart of the persuasion principle, the 4th key to transformational leadership. Persuasion isn't about pressure, it's about alignment. It's the art of shaping the thoughts, emotions, and beliefs that precede behavior. When you master that sequence, you gain the power to influence outcomes before decisions are even made. This principle unfolds in 3 essential stages. First, build trust and respect. Trust comes from keeping your promises. Respect comes from honoring the unique strengths of others. Without both, even your best ideas fall flat. Second, shift the focus away from your own goals. Instead, listen deeply to the priorities of those you lead. When people feel seen and heard, they begin to see you not as someone pushing an agenda, but as a partner in progress. Only then do you move to the 3rd step, offering solutions that speak directly to their needs, not yours. This reversal from self to service is what transforms influence into inspiration. Effective persuasion also relies on clear expectations. Begin conversations by agreeing on shared goals. Clarify decision-making roles with a simple scale. 1 means I decide, 5 means you decide. Check in regularly, address concerns early, and always strive for mutual clarity. At the core, people don't resist change. They resist feeling misunderstood, unseen, or unsafe. When you lead with empathy and clarity, you don't just get buy-in, you build belief. 5. Praise builds peak performance. Every Sunday, over 350,000 fans pack football stadiums across America. cheering, screaming, and celebrating every winning move. But come Monday, those same passionate voices often return to workplaces where excellence is met with polite nods, if anything. That contrast reveals a powerful truth. Recognition fuels performance, and that's exactly what the praising principle, the fifth pillar of transformational leadership, is all about. Exceptional leaders understand that praise isn't just encouragement, it's strategy. When employees feel truly valued, they don't just comply, they commit. They take smart risks. They innovate. They grow faster than their peers. Why? Because confidence becomes their operating system. But too many leaders struggle here. Why? They're stuck in the shadows, holding on to resentment, self-doubt, or fear. These internal blockages stifle their ability to praise freely, and in turn stifle the performance of those around them. To lead with praise effectively, focus on three things. Sincerity, don't fake it. Let your praise come from genuine appreciation. Timeliness, praise in the moment. Instant recognition has lasting impact. Specificity, ditch the vague, good job. Instead, name exactly what they did and why it mattered. And yet, praise alone isn't enough. The praising principle includes a second, equally important force: purification. That means removing what's blocking progress, not through blame, but through curiosity. What's holding your people back? What's getting in your own way? A simple habit can bring both sides to life. 5 minutes of daily reflection. Ask yourself, 1. Where did I succeed in living my purpose today? 2. What made that possible? 3. Where did I fall short? 4. What held me back? 5. And what can I learn from it? This quiet ritual becomes a powerful compound interest in your leadership journey. You celebrate what's working and you illuminate what needs work, without shame or fear. Because when praise meets purpose and recognition meets reflection, something extraordinary happens. People stop settling and start soaring. 6. Perseverance drives transformation. Abraham Lincoln lost 12 elections before becoming president. Sir James Dyson failed 5,127 times before inventing a vacuum cleaner that would change the world. What drove them forward wasn't raw talent. It was unshakable perseverance. And that's the heartbeat of the perseverance principle, the sixth pillar of transformational leadership. In today's corporate world, we often hear about the war for talent. Resumes are polished, credentials stacked, and skills carefully curated. But when the storm hits, when setbacks, rejections, or failures arise, it's not talent that carries leaders forward, it's grit. The perseverance principle teaches us that breakthrough performance doesn't come from brilliance alone. It comes from refusing to give up when it's easier to walk away. True perseverance is twofold. The tortoise, steady, methodical, never losing sight of the finish line. And the hare, quick to adapt, responsive, agile in real time. To grow this kind of resilience, ask yourself 9 key questions. 1. What exactly am I aiming for? 2. Why does it deeply matter to me? 3. What sacrifices am I truly willing to make? 4. What new skills must I build? 5. Who's in my corner and who's dragging me down? 6. What story am I telling myself and how can I rewrite it? 7. What obstacles might I face and how will I respond? 8. What rewards can I give myself along the way? 9. Who can I look to for inspiration when I feel low? Answer honestly, and you build not just a plan, but armor for the journey ahead. But beware, there are silent enemies of perseverance: inertia, which keeps you stuck in what's familiar; ignorance, where data replaces human connection; inexperience, a temporary gap that only learning can bridge; and indifference, the most dangerous of all, when your why fades and the soul of your work is lost in numbers. So what do? You fall back in love with your purpose. You remind yourself daily why you started. And when failure shows up, as it inevitably will, you don't panic. You pivot. Because transformation doesn't come from avoiding hardship. It comes from conquering it. As a transformational leader, perseverance isn't optional. It's essential. Not because the path is easy, but because the impact is worth it. 7. Preparation creates purposeful leadership. Most leaders today are caught in a blur of back-to-back meetings, endless emails, and to-do lists that never end. They move fast, react quicker, but rarely pause. And so they stop leading with intention and start surviving by default. This is the world of the human doing. But transformational leadership requires something deeper, becoming a human being, rooted, present, and prepared. This brings us to the preparation principle, the seventh and final cornerstone of transformational leadership. It teaches us this profound truth. You cannot lead others toward transformation until you first lead yourself. Purposeful leadership starts not with strategy, but with stillness, not with action, but with awareness, not with trying to avoid the storm, but learning how to stand in it with clarity. Think of Apollo 13. 200,000 miles from Earth, an explosion nearly doomed the crew, but NASA didn't panic. They prepared their minds to meet the unknown. What could have been a tragedy became their finest moment, not because the challenge disappeared, but because the obstacle summoned their greatest thinking. True leadership is forged in that same fire. To embody the preparation principle, you must build your inner foundation on 4 pillars. 1. Dreams. Not just visions of success, but a deep refusal to accept the limits of today. 2. Courageous choices. Those bold leaps that carry you beyond comfort and into growth. 3. Unshakable beliefs. The quiet conviction that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a co-creator of your path. 4. Daily actions. Consistent steps that inch you closer to your purpose day after day, no matter how small. And here's a simple yet powerful habit to anchor your growth. Each evening, ask yourself these 5 questions. Where did I create the most value today? When was I truly present and engaged? What pivotal events tested me, and how did I respond? Where did I fall short of my potential? And finally, what am I excited to create tomorrow? By asking these questions, you move from accidental leadership to intentional evolution. You stop reacting and start designing. And in doing so, you prepare not just for tomorrow's challenges, but for the leader you are becoming. Because the most powerful leadership doesn't begin in the boardroom, it begins within. Book summary. Leadership isn't just about driving results. It's about awakening vision in others. Blane's 7 principles don't just upgrade your skill set. They transform your soul set. Lead with purpose, not just checklists. Honor your word, because trust is your currency. Champion work that matters, not just what's urgent. Inspire through influence, not authority. Praise what's right, and watch performance soar. Persist beyond failure, because grit outshines perfection. And above all, prepare your inner world so your leadership becomes unstoppable. Because in the end, transformational leadership doesn't just change your team, it changes how they see themselves. And when people believe in their worth, they rise to the occasion. Hungry for more leadership wisdom? Drop a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a spark of insight from Guide to Reads. Until next time, keep leading with heart and stay luminous.